Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today is May 30, 2023, and this is the Evan Studios Weekly Podcast. I am your host, Stark, and with me, I have my co host slash co founder of Evan Studios, Isaac.
Hello, everyone.
And yeah, I know we haven't been around for a long time. Uh, I'm trying really hard not to laugh because the first thing that I did before the podcast was share an image with Sirius Black, and he just posted like an uppercase yes of excitement, and I was trying really hard not to laugh throughout the intro. So today I'm going to go straight to the good stuff. Uh, most of all, this is the first podcast we didn't. You need to turn that off. Wait, and did you turn off the living room one or did you turn it on? Cool. Then just turn that off. Yeah, we just realized we there was one fan we forgot to turn off. So basically, this is the first podcast after Show the Patch, or most of the Show the Patch. Um, a lot of people have been wondering where have we been in terms of the podcast. Honestly, we just haven't been around. While we were finishing the Show the Patch, we were putting 10 to 12 hours of work a day for like the final 2 weeks. Um, we were trying really hard to release the whole thing before Isaac went on vacation, but unfortunately it wasn't possible. New bugs kept appearing. There was stuff that we were doing. Um, that this was the biggest problem. This was what was becoming incredibly frustrating for me working on the patch uh, near the end of the deadline, so to speak. um, Initially I started giving people deadlines for when I wanted the patch to come out, which was the first time was like November. What happened the first time was uh, I felt like a few more scenes will improve the game a lot, and then we went to a voting, and then we did a few more scenes. Then, as you guys know, the CG team got evicted, etc., etc. So we were basically going through a lot. There was a lot of stuff that happened in real life. I got COVID. COVID hit me like really hard to the point where my body hurt every day for like 2 weeks. And I just felt exhausted as soon as I got out of bed. But before that happened, I need to increase the volume apparently. Yeah, cause wait, where do I need to increase the volume? Are you sure it's not you? Does anyone else having issues with being able to hear me? Because I don't think I touched any settings. Do I need to like touch this or something? Is this a thing? Can you guys hear me, or am I like too loud now? I don't think I touched any settings. That's the thing. Sirius is telling me in chat that I want to raise the volume a bit, but I'm worried I might make it too loud and suddenly it's just too loud for everyone. Um, yeah, it might be you, Sirius, because I don't remember I don't remember even touching the settings, but I'm what the fuck. Yeah, this one doesn't even allow me to. Yeah, this one's okay. Okay, okay. Yeah, I'm not speaking too loud because my throat. I have a sore throat at the moment. This might be a problem during the podcast. Yeah, so we missed the first deadline, and then obviously we had. I feel like it was like in January or something. We we wanted to make another extension to make even more improvements. And when we got to the end of February or whatever it was, or it was March, or I think it was March, which was like our last deadline. Um, I felt like, and this is what caused me to be like, when we got to March, and we asked our patrons for like 2 extensions, and we explained what we were going to do with that time and whatever. uh, we always felt like we were being that our supporters were being incredibly supportive. They will understand what we were, what we were trying to accomplish, um, and people were okay with us. Like the overwhelming majority was okay with us causing delays in order to deliver a better product, to create more scenes, to improve the scenes that we had issues with, to improve the writing, to make sure that we wouldn't do anything that felt rushed and whatnot. But when it came to March, and we were already working a ridiculous amount of hours a day. We were working weekends to try and deliver the things in March. We were basically working every single day of the week. We were working weekends. We were working 10, 12 hours a day. And then at that point, I felt like our supporters were telling us, dude, just slow down. Like, it's out when it's out. Don't worry about it. We know, like, you guys have been delivering quality content for God knows how long, like 8 years. And we know that when it comes out, it's going to be worth it. So don't stress about it too much. Just, make sure you put out the best possible product, and take care of yourselves, because we kind of might have an history of overworking ourselves. And while we were feeling that sort of support, people were coming to me in private on Twitter. People were giving me screenshots of like all these random ass forums and whatnot, and other discords and whatnot, of people just talking shit, and berating us, and calling us milkers, and calling us this, and calling us that. So it got to a point where we felt like, okay, so we are making all this effort because we don't want to disappoint a community, and then our supporters are telling us, hey guys, don't worry about it, just take it slow, don't kill yourselves. And the people that are not giving us a dime, they are not supporting us, neither financially or being supportive in any way, shape, or form. They are not coming in our Discord to support us, to chat with us, to whatever. All they're doing is complaining and berating us and whatnot. And I felt like, wait, those are the people we are making an effort for. Those are the people we are killing ourselves for. The people that actually support us, the people that actually follow us on Patreon, the people that actually go on our Discord, the people that actually chat with us and whatever, they are comprehensive. You go check the votings, and everyone is speaking. Just take your time, deliver the best possible product, and everyone else is just talking trash. So at that point, when I got COVID, and I felt like shit, and I felt, dude, okay, I might need to slow down for a couple days, but I'll keep working 10 12 hours a day. As soon as I feel better, I'll go back to working weekends, whatever. People started talking all sorts of mad shit, like they keep breaking their promises, they can't stick to a deadline, blah 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 blah. And for me, that was like the last straw. When I felt like our supporters were being supportive, when I was sick, when I was feeling like shit, when I was, putting my body through hours and hours and hours of exhausting work, feeling anxious, feeling stressed, all that shit, to be able to put out the free product that everyone could enjoy, because I wanted to allow people to enjoy our game. Most people that weren't actually supporting us were just berating us and accusing us of all this shit. Given our track record, people should know better. But I felt like, okay, so why am I killing myself for? Why am I putting my team through overworking, and because we are passionate, we want to deliver something of quality, We want to be able to we don't want to defraud the expectations of the community in general, not just the people that support us. Because we are passionate about this. We want to make good games, and we want to make good games in a good time. But we also know when we are overworking ourselves. And at the end of the Shota patch, we were heavily overworking ourselves. Even though our supporters were telling us to take it slow and don't worry about it, just put on the best possible product. And outsiders were just cracking the whip and telling us like all sorts of shit and accusing us of all sorts of ridiculous shit, like trying to slow down the pace of the Shota patch to milk whatever. Because people have no fucking idea how much money we are losing by working on a free product instead of actually working on Bloodlust in Journey Abroad. That's the funny part. So when I was sick and I saw all that and people were showing me screenshots like, look at this fucking idiot in this forum, look at this fucking idiot in, and I was checking messages that I was getting on Twitter and whatnot. All sorts of guilt that I felt for, shit, I can't believe I'm sick again, I won't be able to deliver it in this date. In that day, it felt liberating. It was like, no, I'm done. I'm done. Like, why am I killing myself? These people are ungrateful. Like, ungrateful is not even a word to begin defining how some people were behaving. So at that point, I was like, no, fuck it. I'm not gonna fucking kill myself working when my body is fucking exhausting, when I'm still trying to recover from COVID and whatnot. My eyes hurt, my fucking head hurts every day as soon as I get up. I just went back to bed, and from that point on, I didn't work a single extra weekend. I didn't work 1 hour past 8 hours of work every day. I'll work 8 hours. As soon as I hit 8 hours, okay, rest I'll leave it for tomorrow. And I stopped giving deadlines. I just focused on making a better game, and all the ideas that I had, and all the improvements that I wanted to do, all the things that I said when I told Isaac, don't worry, I won't change the game. I changed the game. Because at that point, I didn't give a fuck anymore. I was always working on it with the deadline in mind. Even though our supporters were telling us, don't worry about it, just do your best. That's how it always has been. People have always been understanding. People have always understood that we are taking longer because we are putting in time, we're putting in work. And when we release stuff, I feel like it's obvious for everyone where the work has went, but it's especially obvious for developers where the work has been, where the work has went. We did a lot of unique work for the Shota patch, and it's not even all in the game yet. Over the course of this week, we wanna make sure that we finish the Shota patch. If we can, if for whatever reason I have to do some paneling on the Christmas patch, or I have to write some anti-scenes and whatever, that it might happen. But we're going to try to wrap the Shota patch entirely between this week and next week, and then obviously there's something that I want to share with you guys. Best is, but I just felt like, listen, I'm done. Like, I wanted to. From the Shota patch on, I wanted to start a new method for releasing patches, which is we want to be able to stream most of our work. Obviously, while running in Tycoons, we cannot do it because, we will be browsing through mature images, and there's going to be obviously mature dialogue going through in the chat box and whatnot, so we won't be able to stream that while I'm creating anti-scenes. Also, it will be major spoilers, so that will be extremely boring. But most of the map creating and assets creating, testing new songs, checking songs to buy, whatever, most of that stuff we want to start. We want to start a side stream, because right now the things that we have is the game reviews and the podcast, the weekly podcast. We want to start a new segment, and basically it's just us streaming us while creating the game, while developing the game. while creating the whole thing that composes a game, to the to the exception of um, obviously creating the entire scenes, paneling them in Photoshop and whatnot. I also want to try and convince Tiger Lila to during some of the coloring that she does. I'm trying to get her to stream now and then to make a coloring stream where you guys can see her coloring our entire scenes and whatnot. But yeah, basically, uh, we want from now on to be able to let people accompany our journey of developing the game, because it's easy to say we are working in the game. You will be able to see where the work has went to, but honestly, not everyone is able to do that. But it's a lot easier to show everyone what have you been working on if they can literally see what have you been working on. Well, for the most part, because Isaac will be doing some of the stuff while I'll be doing some of the stuff, and Isaac's computer is not even close, ready to stream and work at the same time. I mean, at the time, I'm already surprised it's able to work.
It works just fine. I mean, if it's just an RPG Maker, it works just fine.
And Photoshop and whatnot.
Yeah.
By the way, you have to remake most of the busts.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. I think I know what happened. Oh, you grabbed the old Fujiko bus. So just so you guys know, like when we were almost done with the Shoto patch and we delayed that shit for like an extra month, and basically to preserve my sanity, I was just answering most of the stuff that people were asking on Discord with just irony and sarcasm. It was because I was trying to amuse myself throughout some questioning attitudes from a lot of people. And when people come and make a question to which the answer is like two posts above them, and they literally do not read a line that is two lines above the line that they just read, sometimes it's hard to speak to answer with something less than sarcasm. Obviously, the people that were having attitudes in other Discords and forums and Twitter and whatnot, even on Facebook, dude. Like, usually people don't fucking message me on Facebook, but for the Shoto patch, like, Jesus Christ. Obviously, some of that, eventually got to our Discord, but people thought that they could just go to our Discord with an attitude and not get banned for whatever reason. But a lot of the stuff that we were working, just like when we were fixing bugs, more bugs showed up. When we were working on the bus, and while I was working on the bus, I realized that Isaac used two sets of faces to create Fujiko's bus that look fucking garbage. The ones that we have right now, they are decent at best, but while the faces are the right faces, they are not in the right place. Basically, the assets are there. The assets are the ones that we are going to have. It's the right eyes, it's the right noses, the right mouths, the right eyebrows and whatnot. But the framing is incorrect. For whatever reason, someone messed with Fujiko's face, so it's not in the right place. I'm pretty sure I had an image here for the fix that we wanted to make. But whatever, that's one of the things that we need to fix still. We need to reframe the entirety of Fujiko's face. And for the remaster, we want to remake the Ayame bust, especially the normal bust. We dislike it a lot, which is funny because the secretary bust is one that we enjoy a lot. We feel like the secretary bust is one of the best busts we ever had. But then it has a huge discrepancy from the secretary bust to the regular bust. So we are still trying to get to do the final touches on the regular bust, the one with the red no sleeve sweater, so to speak. We are trying to get the right bust for that one. that will not come out for the Christmas patch because I feel like it will delay it a lot. So we are just going to focus on other stuff meanwhile, and we'll do the. We don't want the CG team to be working on that for now. We want the CG team to be fully focused on creating entire scenes, and then for the remaster we will have the new busts. As for Fujiko, like I said, it's not a problem of the assets per se. It's not because of it's the wrong eyes or whatever. It's just it's the wrong framing. The whole face needs to be shifted in a different direction a little bit. Oh, I have yeah. This is why I couldn't see it. Yeah, and so in the next few days, what we are going to do is trying to wrap up the Shota patch, release the final version, and obviously prioritizing the Christmas patch and stream the creation of the Christmas patch, even though most of the work that needs to be done is actually Isaac, which is creating the events, but then writing the events, and I need to create the garage, but the garage is not a big deal. So basically, this is the new expression. So it's the same, but the thing is, if you move this whole thing, like right now in the game, it looks like this, something like this, and the thing above is not there, right? It's just wrong, or it's like too low or whatever, and I had to like readjust. I can actually show you what it is later, but anyway, so one of the things that I need to announce, which it won't make a huge difference to a lot of you, but a few of you have heard about it. There's a few scenes, some of them really short, but there's a few scenes that you guys haven't seen in the Shota patch because most of the dialogue past day 9 or whatever it is just placeholder dialogue. So most of the dialogue that should be there and most of the images that should be there to convey a lot of ideas and feelings and whatever are not. But we have actually asked the CG team to create a scene, and for those that have played the entire game and have finished the Shota ending, where spoiler alert, I will skip the next 10 seconds if you haven't. You've been warned. There's a point where Ayame finds adult Noel having sex with Fujiko in the couch in a reverse cowgirl, and apparently a lot of people liked that scene, so to speak, how it was explained. But that scene is not visual. It's not really an entire scene. It's Ayame explaining what happened during that 6-year gap between the ending, technically, of the Shota patch, the last day, and the actual Shota ending, where they're all having sex on the kid's birthday. There's a scene that Ayame is doing like an introspection, or talking about retrospection in this case, talking about what happened in those 6 years. And there's a point where Ayame is explaining that she caught Fujiko having sex with Noel and she thought it was Leon, but in her succubus outfit and whatever. And basically a lot of people like that scene, so we are actually going to put that scene in the game. Muku is actually working on the lines right now, and then once that's done, we are going to send it to the CG team to make it a priority, and they are going to color it. And that's the only reason why I don't think we will be able to release the Shota patch 100% version this week, because we still have one scene that is gonna go to coloring. And that scene has quite a few nuances, but maybe next week we will be able to release the Shota patch. And as for the Christmas patch, tomorrow we will have our first development stream, which will be me trying to create a garage that will, and try to explain more or less how the Shota patch works. One of the things that I asked Isaac to do in the last few days was to grab. This part is not gonna make any sense to some people, but when you create maps in RPG Maker, you only have a few images that you can work with. They are called tile sets, and basically there's like images of like furniture and appliances and whatever there. And to be able to have those in the map and be able to interact with them and whatever, they need to be in tile sets. And there's only a limit of how many images you can have in the tile set. And I Am As House, in the original version of the game, as a completely used tile set for many situations where she's having dinner, different people there having dinner, whatever. That tile set is completely used. So one of the things that I asked Isaac to do was to grab that tile set and strip that tile set of all the images that aren't being used on Fleeting Aries IF for that tile set, so I can fill it with Christmas ornaments, and basically just give a whole makeover to I Am As House for the Christmas patch. So basically that's what I will be doing tomorrow, is just create a new map, which obviously is gonna look like the regular I Am As House map, but it's not. It's gonna be like completely new map, and prepare it for the Christmas patch. Basically just, you know, make the house look festive, add a punch here and there, you know, just food everywhere, basically just put a lot of Christmas ornaments everywhere on the fireplace, maybe make the fireplace work, etc, etc. It's going to be super fun, and you guys will be able to see a lot of the process. Maybe outside of I Am As House, I will try to put like snow on the roof, snow on the grass outside. Basically, just overall try to give the you know, the whole house a very festive look, so that, you know, to create immersion. We will also be looking for thematic songs and whatnot. So you guys will be able to see a lot of the process that goes into creating new maps and picking, you know, creating like a mood, or setting a mood for specific scenes, which is something that we lost a lot of time doing for the Shota patch. We spent a lot of time listening to to songs. I remember sending Isaac a list of like 400 songs for him to check which ones he liked and which ones he didn't, and then we ended up purchasing like 50 of those songs, and then we ended up purchasing 10 extra songs. As for Bloodlust, we are starting the discussions of how the gameplay is going to happen, because in terms of story and the characters that they meet and whatnot, and the entire scenes and in general, we already have the whole game written, but we hadn't decided until this point, because we were still trying to find like a sprite artist that could make like animated battlers and whatnot. We still hadn't decided how we will make the fight scenes, but now we have like an idea. So most of the discussions that we will be having in the future, as soon as the Christmas patch is done, is developing the whole Bloodlust game, and also developing. Yep, the chat rate died. Can someone confirm me if you guys can hear me? Because I think my computer just had like a little hiccup. Just to be sure. And that the microphone is working and whatnot. Live podcasts. This stuff happens. It's the fucking switch deck down there. Okay. It just turned everything off, like all the systems off. Oof. And I'm worried one of the systems that it turned off, it was like the internet. Okay. And the other one was the microphone. Thank you, Antiluk Magnanim. I will answer to your question in a second. So basically, we are going to be working as soon as we are done with the Christmas patch. We are going to be working on Bloodlust full time, and we will also be working on Journey Abroad full time. So basically, since we want to work on both as soon as possible, we will. It's going to be hard to like establish a schedule because we will be working in both in tandem. So we will be trying to focus just getting Journey Abroad out because we have the in terms of gameplay and whatnot. I feel like we are closer to releasing Journey Abroad than we are of releasing a tech demo of Bloodlust. But after we release the first episode of Journey Abroad, we will go back to working full time on Bloodlust. Obviously, if we are still waiting for the CG team to release something or whatever, we're not just going to sit here with our dicks in our hands. We're probably going to go back to working on Journey Abroad. But we planned on streaming most of that work on YouTube and start doing, like I said, development streams. And yeah, from now on, we plan to like have a patch every 2 months where Journey Abroad is released. We will be working every month, but for people that are only following one game, you will only see a patch every 2 months because we're going to be releasing like January we will release Journey Abroad. February we release Bloodlust. March we release Journey Abroad. April we release Bloodlust, and we keep alternating between one and the other, and we will spend most of that month working on that game, obviously. So technically for us it will be 1 month worth of work, which I promise it's a lot of work, and yeah, we will be releasing. So for people that basically follow both games, you will be seeing, you will be getting a new patch every month, and for people that don't, and we will basically we will try to see if we can keep up with that. If not, we will make we will make bigger gaps, but it should be absolutely doable. And yeah, and basically for people that follow both games, you will be getting a patch every month. For people that only follow one of them, you'll be getting a patch every 2 months. And for people that don't follow none, you will be waiting for Piracy Weapon to get the games. Um, but yeah, the Shota patch, we're just waiting for one more scene to put it out. Um, I'll really like to get feedback for the people that actually played whatever we put out already. Even though I know there's a lot of people waiting for the whole thing to be released. The Christmas patch should follow suit very soon because it's not technically it's not a very hard to do patch. There's not a lot of dialogue, and it doesn't happen over the course of too many days. It opens just in one night. And most of the stuff that happens can be attributed to alcohol. I mean, it's not supposed to be a follow of any story. It's not a follow up of any story. It's not like it's supposed to be taken a lot more lightheartedly, and it's just something like that is thematically. It doesn't have a lot of story behind it. It's just it's just to feel cheerful and have like a holiday theme. And then we can go back to working on full-fledged games, and we are incredibly excited to work on Bloodlust and on Journey Abroad. We have been basically cooking ideas for years. As people know, Eve is probably one of my favorite main characters. Uh, it's probably toss up between her, Melissa, and Ayame. Even though most people haven't seen Melissa outside of the Halloween patch, and basically don't know a lot about her and whatnot. Super excited to work on that game as well. That's the one I've been cooking the most ideas for. Well, that and Fleeting Iris 2, and Fleeting Iris 3, and Journey Abroad. I cook a lot. But yeah, Bloodlust, like I know Isaac is super excited to work on it because there's going to be battles and whatnot, and we have to like balance a battle system, and Isaac likes to do that stuff, and create like fun battles, and probably create battles that will be impossible for most people to pass the first time around, and then people are gonna complain, and I have to tell Isaac to tone the battles down, and Isaac will have to tone the battles down because he's like, oh come on, they're being bitches,
Didn't we agree
and
on
then
doing like multiple difficulty
and then I have to remember him that it's an entire game.
on the other podcast.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I know.
Yeah.
We're going to make a difficulty where people just auto win battles.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
I
Give me
mean,
my anti.
huh?
Give me my anti.
Yeah.
With the name of the difficulty.
Give me my anti.
Yes.
It's the name of the difficulty.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just here for the tits.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that sounds like a real difficulty. Yeah, that's gonna be one of the things. Actually, I feel like 3 difficulties should be enough. Like just here for the tits.
Yes.
Like I like a little challenge.
Yes.
And why the fuck did I get myself into this? And that's like your difficulty. You balance that one.
Like I wanna be fucked like I'm the character in the anti scene.
Yes. Yes. So basically, I assume that for that difficulty, it's gonna be hard to make the game like not make you like grind for shit. If we try a non-leveling system, if we try more of like you unlock certain techniques at a certain point, you are
I absolutely hate grinding, as you know.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do like tricky battles with specific strategies, kind of like Nocturne, for example, and stuff like that.
okay.
So you have to figure out like which specific skills or specific items or specific weapons or whatever you have to use, like in which order, how to counter the shit that the boss does, and whatever. Unique attacks for every boss that make it like super hard unless you figure the trick and stuff like that.
That sounds fun-ish.
Yes, also hard to do.
Also hard to do. Yes. But yeah, that sounds entertaining. Merciless SMTV difficulty. What is TV? Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Yes.
I didn't play 5.
I haven't played it yet because it's only on Switch. So yeah.
Yeah, I didn't play. Shin
I
Megami
really want to
Tensei
play
5.
that game. Like really, really, really want to.
I already told you I have a Switch.
Yeah, but you said you wanted to buy the game only when it comes out on PC, so you can buy it.
I'm probably not gonna
with
buy
all the stuff.
yeah, that
For
can,
like a reasonable price and not Nintendo price.
yeah, that can be like in 2030.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, I want a lot of shit. I also want to play Final Fantasy VII remake and finish it. And
Absolutely.
the problem is that I have a massive feeling that the next game is gonna fucking botch, and when that one botches, like everything, the whole house comes crumbling down. I feel like they've been setting us up for disappointment on the
guess
next
we'll
one.
see. Isn't the game like expected to be released like this year, Final Fantasy 16?
Yes.
This year. Yeah.
Yes.
I guess we'll see sooner.
Here's my problem with the whole thing. I feel like that game not only is going to kill the series, as it's going to kill Square Enix, as it's going to make the first game look like shit. Because if they don't make a transition between the first one and the second one, the first game is going to be shit. It's like, oh, remember the elemental material you got before the end of the game? Well, that was literally the end of the game. So basically, there is no point to getting that fucking material, you know. Anyway, speaking of better stuff. So we are super excited to work on Journey Abroad. We already have a lot of body of work to put out. We have been letting Scarlet Ann get like a whole year worth of material
Yes.
working for us for like a full year.
But not just for us, so it's not really like 1 year full time. Like,
Well, yes, and it might never be because she works for herself plus other people. But I know that one of the people that she works for is Siren from Zombie something game. And I know that basically it's like, well, basically it's plagiarism. That's what it is. But no, it's like what do you call when someone is like, I don't remember the expression now, but it's when it's not the direct sequel of something, but it's like people are making shit, like an homage to a game that happened, and people call it like the soul successor or whatever it's called.
spiritual successor.
It's spiritual successor.
Yes.
So basically, that game is a spiritual successor of another game that was also zombie, very similar gameplay, not to say the same, with the same artist, which was Scarlet N. And that game is like the spiritual successor of that one. And Siren finished the first one, which is Zombies something, and now he's working on the second one. And apparently, according to some people on our Discord and whatnot, that specific patch got a lot of backlash because they released like 2 scenes in 3 months. I read it like horizontally.
Yes. Do you mean diagonally?
Diagonally, yeah. But I was probably horizontally. I was probably lying in my bed.
But I guess.
But yeah, Zombies Retreat. There you go. Which is the spiritual successor to another zombie game that I don't know, that I don't remember the name. And yeah, 2 scenes in 3 months or something. It's kind of ridiculous. And yeah, obviously some people are mad. And obviously some people ask me if, yo, was that because of Scarlet N and whatever and whatnot? And it was not because of Scarlet N. Like, I know that Scarlet N is not going to give you like 2 scenes worth of work in like 3 months. That's insane. Like I said many times, in worst case scenario, Scarlet has delivered me like one scene in a month. For instance, just so you guys, just so I can give you guys an idea of the volume of work that Scarlet and I do. Scarlet gave me a scene on the 25th of May, and I ordered a new scene on the 26th because I was already asleep, and she hasn't delivered that one, but I will get back to you guys when she does. So basically, I ordered the scene on the 18th, and she delivered that scene on the 20. She gave me a sketch of the same scene on the same day. Basically, I ordered the scene on the 18th. She gave me a sketch of the scene in the same day. We made a few adjustments, and she went through with it. And on the 25th, she was delivering me that scene. Before that, she delivered me a scene on the 17th, and I ordered that one on the 10th. So it took like literally a week, 7 days.
Yes.
And so it went from the 10th to the 17th, and then from the 17th, we ordered one on the 18th, and she delivered on the 25th, which was like again 7 days. And before that, we requested a scene on, there we go, the 18th of last month, which she released on the 26th of this month. And then what was this gap? Oh wait, no, we requested it on the 18th. Okay, I'm getting confused here. No, I requested on the 15th of last month. Yeah, and then she delivered the sketch like 3 days later, and then she delivered the scene on the 26th, and then I asked for a few changes. So 26th, and then I asked for the new scene. There we go, on the 26th, and she released it on the 17th. Okay, yeah, this one she took like 20 days to deliver. So in worst case scenario, she will take like 20 days to deliver, but then she will give you like a scene in a week, then she will release one in like 2 weeks or close to 3, and then you get like 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but you will never get like, for instance, this one was on the 12th and she delivered it on the 14th. So, which was like 2 days later. So in general, you will not get one scene a month. Now, I understand that you might have to send the scenes to the animator and whatnot, which is an issue we have right now. We don't even have an animator. Ours disappeared. I don't know what happened. I just hope that he's safe and sound. But releasing 2 scenes in 3 months does not feel like it was, it was Scarlett's fault or it happened because Scarlett was not putting out work. It just doesn't seem realistic to me. So people obviously ask me, you work with Scarlett, do you think it's possible that the reason why his patch took like almost 4 months to release 2 scenes, do you think that's, is it Scarlett being slow? And I'm like, listen, I have to talk about what I know. Obviously I cannot tell what happened, but it does not seem likely to me. I've been working with Scarlett for a year. Yes, there is some inconsistency due to her schedule and due to the fact that she works with different people, and at some point she prioritizes her work above everyone else's, as she should. And when she's like working on a specific manga or whatever, she might take a little longer to deliver a scene to you. But even though you cannot set like a schedule to work with Scarlet, you get scenes on very short intervals. I think the maximum we had was like a month way back in like Halloween or whatever, that she was working on like a big project that she was working on whatever, and that one actually took a month. But after that, she released like 2 scenes in like 2 weeks and whatever. So, at the end of the day, if people ask me like, is it feasible to work with Scarlet? Of course, I feel like it's feasible to work with Scarlet. Scarlet is a professional. She conveys the ideas of the scenes that I wanna give her. She portrays them very well. Whenever I ask for changes or this or that, she's always willing to do those changes. It's super fun to work with Scarlet, and obviously you cannot, even though you cannot set a schedule, it's still she still does a very decent volume, to the point where you can work a game with her. But right now, we are letting her get ahead on the amount of work that she's doing, so that once we start creating Journey Abroad, there's no breaks in development process.
Yes.
So right now we don't want to start like delivering a patch with like 5 scenes every month, and then once we catch up, imagine that this is the idea that we're going with right now, and I guarantee that for most of you this is going to make sense. Scarlet is the mangaka, we are the anime. We are letting the manga get ahead, so that when we make the anime, we already have all the work, and we don't have to start making fillers.
Or do an hiatus, like One Punch Man.
Or to hiatus, because that's what's going to happen, because we don't have fillers. So basically that's what's happening. Obviously we don't want to break the momentum once you start working on the game. We already said we want to release a patch every 2 months, and create intervals with the other game. Obviously some patches are going to be bigger than others. Stuff going to happen, people are going to get sick, whatever, but we're going to try work as hard as we can to do the most body of work that we can. And then if the patches still feel sizable and the patches feel interesting and whatnot, even with just 1 month of work on them, we will keep that schedule for the whole thing. If not, we will probably do like 2 months intervals. So you will get like a Bloodlust patch every 4 months, but it will be like a more sizable patch, and you will get a Journey Abroad patch every 4 months, but it will be obviously a very sizable patch with 2 months of work. But obviously our 2 months of work are not the 2 months of work of other people.
Clearly.
I mean, you can tell by the Shota patch. That's a whole game, and out of the whole year that we took to develop that game, we did not work a whole year. We basically had no scenes being done in Christmas. We were working on other games. Meanwhile, we were fixing Fleeting Iris. There's like the whole patches between 1.10 and 1.13, where we cleaned up the game, restructured the whole map, made the game being retroactively playable, and you could go back to do all the other scenes. People forget that all that stuff is stuff that we did while we were working on the Shota patch. Most of the work that was done in Journey Abroad, like most of the maps that will show up in the first patch are done.
Maps look great.
A lot of the systems that are done there, we did during the process of Shota patch. So in terms of time, obviously it's going to feel like it's going to feel slow, but then once you get the volume of work, obviously it's going to make up for it. But yeah, right now we want to be able to present something every month, and basically alternate between Bloodlust and Journey Abroad, and that's the goal as in the short term. So like I said, this week or next week, it's probably going to be next week, because as some people already seen the sketch, but it's on a very early level. Muko is trying to make this scene amazing. Um, as I told him, just take your time because people really like that scene, so we cannot defraud them. Because there's a lot of expectation on this scene, riding on this scene. Get it? Fujiko is the expectation, riding on this scene. No. So basically, Shota patch will be done soon. Tomorrow we will start the Christmas patch development podcasts, and then we are going to start working full time on Bloodlust and Journey Abroad, and it's going to be amazing, and everyone is going to love it. It's going to be great because now we're in May. Let's say, hypothetically, we will be able to release the Shota patch next week. Let's say that we will be able to release the Christmas patch at the end of June, which means we will start wink wink working on we will start working on Bloodlust. Actually, we're gonna focus on Journey Abroad first. So we will start working on. This is hypothetically. Please do not fucking write these dates down. But we will be able to start working full time on Journey Abroad on
You'll never learn.
July 1st. This is just for me. This is just for me to get an idea, which means we will be able to release the first scene of Journey Abroad on July, at the end of July, and then we'll be able to start working on August for Bloodlust and get a tech demo out at the end of Bloodlust, and then alternate between September will be Journey Abroad, October will be 1 month of Halloween patch, which I feel like it's incredibly short. Actually, here we should probably also use this month. We should use September and October to work on the Halloween patch, and then here go back to Journey Abroad, and here go back to Bloodlust. And instead of like delivering, okay, we want to make this work and try to fit it here, what we're going to do from now on is we want to release here, and this is the amount of work we have to show for that month.
Yeah.
And obviously some patches are going to be bigger and some patches are going to be smaller, but at least we will be continuously releasing stuff, and people with good internet and low patience can get them, and people with fucked up bandwidths and more patience can just release, just download the version every 6 months and get like a huge chunk of game. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So basically that's it. But obviously we're not setting dates here. We're just trying to figure out like how many patches we will be able to get out of something. But we really wanted to work on the Halloween patch this year, and we are still trying to decide if we're going to work on it for like 1 month or two. Because we need to give the CG team time to what we can do for those is while we are creating the events and whatnot, we might let you can work to this work computer and you stream that, because that's entertaining.
Yeah, that part is kind of fun.
Creating the maps is also fun for that part.
Yeah.
Because we don't have any of that shit for the mini games and the whatever. I always like creating maps for that shit.
Yeah.
It's always fun, dude. I like our Halloween patch very much. I understand that people are very conflicted about it. There's people that like it a lot and people that don't like it at all. Oh, it's
Patch is great. What are you talking about?
dude. I know what you're saying. But it's very polarizing. Trust me on this. It's very polarizing. I think the Halloween patch is as polarizing as people are in agreement that the bestiality patch fucking sucked ass.
Oh, okay.
Almost everyone that likes bestiality thought that the bestiality patch sucked ass. Like it was very bad.
I know about that.
Oh god, that was like one of my biggest regrets. Why did I think I could write that? But I learned my lesson. I did a lot of research for the Shota patch.
Yes.
And I still was shaking in my fucking pants. Like I was dreading the day that I released that patch, and people were pointing out, "That's not the point of Shota. You didn't get you just don't get it." And I'll be like, "No, I don't. See where the problem is?"
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, if somebody accused you of not being a good enough groomer, I don't know how that could be an insult, but sure, I guess.
And the Halloween patch, I think that the Halloween scenes are hot. In general, like the whole cast is there. There's monsters. A lot of people are not into monster sex. I get
Yeah,
it.
that's probably one of the reasons.
Also, a lot of people are not into rape, even though it's like fictional and you know, it's fictional within fictional.
I guess
Because in the end, you figure out I am. It was just dreaming.
it's like another dimension and stuff.
It's a whole. No. It actually makes sense. Trust me. Story wise, I just didn't share it. It actually makes sense story wise. So basically, the succubus that is meant to come in and take over the world on Bloodlust.
Yeah.
Basically, they sent one before her, but she was like, "Haha, I'm free. Fuck all bitches." That's that one.
Okay.
She's like a prankster, kind of like Loki,
Yeah.
and she has been on Earth for a long time.
Kind of like
and,
a trickster god / deity / something. Okay.
Yes, and basically what she does is every Halloween she grabs a group of people and she makes them run like games, and that's what she does for fun.
That sounds fun.
But she has to do like very small groups of people and not make a big impact because she doesn't want to show the angels that she's
Yeah.
So she grabbed that castle and she created like a blind spot where people from hell and heaven cannot see where that spot is, whatever. Cause,
Sure.
I like it. I really like the Halloween patch, and I like the scenes and like the whole look of the characters and whatnot. I feel like it's really cool. Anyway, I need to answer a question that Antilope Magnanimo asked, and I hope he's still around. He asked me, "Hi, your game is amazing. Will you continue with the one-on-one developer guides?" Technically, no, because that was a paid stream. So that was someone in our $50 tier that asked us to do a live stream of them asking us questions and us explaining how to develop a game and whatnot. I could do it if people told me like what they wanted to learn and whatnot. I would probably consider doing lessons. Like for a lot of stuff, it actually might be better if Isaac and I do it, because there's a lot of stuff that I have an idea of how it's done, but I've never personally did it myself. Usually when I don't know how something works, I just look at Isaac and I just tell him, you did this and this and this and this, right? And usually the answer is, yeah, that's exactly what I did, or no, I tried this other way, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I didn't figure that.
Yeah, sure.
In general, I know how shit is done, but there's also a lot of shit that I don't do. The same way that while Isaac doesn't have my skill set and he's not able to do most of the stuff that he sees me do, he sees me do it. Like, he knows all most of the stuff that is done in the game. He knows how I did it, or the effort that it took me to do it, or whatever. Like, even though he never did it, he knows how it's done. Same way a lot of the stuff that he does, I didn't do it, but I know how it's done. Doesn't mean I probably have the skill set or the patience or whatever it is to do his job. But yeah, if people tell me what are their doubts and whatever, and what they would like to learn about RPG Maker and whatnot, I can probably put up
Yeah, sure.
we can probably do a stream. Like, how do you guys do this? How do you guys do that? We could probably do like a tutorial stream on how to work on games. I'd like to do one like how to work on with Patreon and Subscribestar and how to do most of the stuff, and probably one about streaming and whatnot. Yeah, that's probably you. Like until Magnanimum said, I would love to see how you do the common events progress for chapters. Wait, what do you mean for chapters?
I think it's the
tabs?
The animation we have with today's scrolling that we did for the Shota patch.
Oh yeah, okay. So that I'm fucking crazy. That's what we do. I did each one of those manually, and then I said, Isaac, this is what you're gonna do. And I think I sent you like the event. I want this event like this. And then you had to switch the timers, and you had to
timers,
switch
the sizes,
basically
the coordinates for every image, and do.
I think I sent you like a working version that it had like colored squares.
Yeah, you sent me colored squares, and you you showed me a picture with everything like this is like the start and this has to become like this, and you explain me, and the transition has to work like this.
Yeah.
So you explain me, you show me the first stage, the last stage, and told me it has to work like this. Now you do your shit and then show me.
No, I literally know I literally know you did. You had to like switch
Yeah.
the direction of a picture while also
Yeah.
increasing the.
So
the,
we had to try some different things because there's a
it
lot.
means a route. It literally means a route. So that it's the tabs.
It's
the tabs.
it's the other thing. Oh, okay.
So Isaac can probably open. You can probably go like through a podcast.
Okay,
And
one route, it's simpler than it looks. Making all the routes in our game work in tandem
yeah, no.
like they do, it's a very different story.
Yeah, that's yeah. Okay, so basically we can do that. We can do a podcast, and Isaac can probably show like, okay, this is the tabs that we have, and this is what this tab does, and whatever. And in general, we can give you an idea of what is there, but our game is not for the faint of heart.
Probably I could make like a mock-up version of like a simple route, like with like 2 or 3 rays, and maybe explain it that way. It will be like much easier for people to understand it.
Yeah, but like what is probably getting at is like, how do you guys make it so that when this character is like this in this point, how does this character, how does this run and not this and whatever? And that's where our game gets complex. Like a lot of what happens in our game is incredibly complex. I've played.
Have you seen that chart that Cellmate did? Like, what the fuck?
I have played thousands of games. Thousands.
That shit gives me a headache.
I don't want to say like tens of thousands, but I've played thousands of games. RPG Maker and tie games. I've tried so many of the competition. Almost everything that comes out, I try it. A lot of the stuff that comes out on Patreon, I try it. And there's definitely there's such a disparity in terms of skill, of developer skill, in the whole things, because there's people that do put like a terrible story, but in terms of development they're amazing. There's people that make a game look amazing in terms of like scenes and whatnot, and the game is incredibly basic. And I definitely find myself appreciating games in different ways. I feel myself appreciating some games in terms of like developer. I feel I appreciate others in terms of art, others in terms of writing, others in terms of story. But I have to tell you that script wise, I can point out like a handful of games where the scripts, where people spent a lot of wrench time in those games. Let me see an example. Okay, maybe not that many. Yeah, okay. The one that they made about I came to buy the one with the chicks on the I feel like it's I talked about it's a game that is a mock-up of a real game, which is I Came with Papers, or whatever the fuck the game is called. It's a game where you're stopped at like this you're stopped at the border, and I feel like the real game is called like Show Me Papers, or Give Me Your Papers, or something like that. And then someone made like an anti mock-up of that, and I felt like the game was incredibly short, but the game in terms of like anti and whatnot was, in terms of like design and whatever, was more complex than people give it credit for. Karen's Prison, although the game, I feel like the game was very basic story wise, in terms of like the battle system, there's a lot of work time put into that. So script wise, there's a few games that are as complex or even more complex than ours, but in terms of like projects, the way the game is designed in terms of like size, in the terms of like possible routes, and the way you can interact in things in different days or whatever, I never found a game as complex as ours. Our own game gives me fucking nightmares sometimes, knowing that I have to find whatever scene at whatever day and whatever not. I'm glad that Isaac is here, and that I can ask him every time, where the fuck is this, or where do you think it is? Because if I have to find it by myself, dude, it's so complex sometimes. I feel lost.
I mean, we have years of working, or making events, writing code, whatever in our project. If we had like literally search it without having any idea of where to start, that would be like a fucking nightmare.
Isaac, I don't want to be that guy. I know that we do this a lot, but if we removed all of the images of our game, if we just made, okay, you just need to make the entire scenes in like full text, just full text. You don't even need to like put images, just text, like Phenoxo, Cock and Tits, and whatever it does. There are some people that make entire games, and basically all they have is like text. The scenes are text. There's no images. Okay.
Or like the old RPGs. From,
Like the
MS-DOS and
old,
whatever.
like
Okay.
yeah, like the old RPGs.
Okay, I see.
Even
Yeah.
if people had to make the entire scenes only text, so if they only had to make the maps and the system of our game, I guarantee you that out of all the developers that you see on Patreon and on DL site and whatever, you give, okay, this is the game you need to make. Here you go, 8 years. You need to make this game, 8 years, go. I could probably count with my hands how many teams will be able to make the game that we did. Most people that are versed on RPG Maker, on their fucking forums, we go and ask them, how do you make this? And they're like, it's impossible. And we come up with a solution and we make something. Our game is not the type of game that most people are able to make. So if
RPG Maker has a lot of limitations that we have to work around to do a lot of shit that we have on our game. Absolutely.
so basically, if I just want you to know that believing that you can make a game as complex as ours is an unrealistic expectation.
Oh, absolutely.
You will be setting up yourself. You will be setting yourself up for failure. Isaac had a lot of computer experience before we started doing this. I had 20 years of experience before I started doing this. I have almost 30 now. Yeah, I'll have 30 years of computer experience in 2 years. When I turn 40, I will have 30 years of computer experience. I started learning programming and whatnot at the age of 10. So I'm almost 40. So that's an idea. So I try to help people a lot, and I try to. There's this Brazilian guy right now that is making Laura's Adventures. I think the game is called Laura's Adventures. My memory is not very good nowadays. Like my brain is melting from the Shota patch. And I might be a little bit sick, but I've been trying to like mentor him, and I've been trying to mentor a lot of people that are coming up with in the entire scene. There's a lot of people asking me for advice. There's a lot of people there's a lot of devs when they release their games and when they're working in our games, they show up and they tell me, dude, you were a huge influence why I started working on an entire game. I've heard that like dozens and dozens of times. Like people played our game and people seen us do our stuff, and they felt like we were a huge influence and the reason why they started making games. And honestly, I wish everyone the best, but for many reasons, do not try to replicate what we have in terms of size, in terms of complexity, because it's just not something that should be done. Like I've said a million times, Fleeting Eyes was like a test project where we were just trying to see how far we could push the engine and try different things and whatever. And everyone called us fucking insane when we presented the project. Everyone said it couldn't be done. It was we were being unreasonable. It was too big of a task for a noob team to do.
They kind of had the point.
And they had a point. And they had the point.
That's the truth.
And they had the point. But a lot of people that know the task are afraid of the task because some people are aware of it. I'm just telling you, doing a game like ours is not, obviously it's feasible, but it's not recommended. First of all, we are the only ones that did it. There's no game that is, in terms of like gameplay and how you can cross over routes and the sheer size of the game and whatnot, there's no other game like ours. And we might have been very stupid when we did it. But my idea when playing other people's games way back then was, man, this game could have been a lot better. This game could have been better in terms of like this scene or this route, or wow, it is a lot of people here, and then it went nowhere. And there's a lot of games that come out on the L side, you play them and like, oh man, this game might be exciting, and the game ends after 30 minutes. And we were like, bro, we just want to make a game where it feels like realistically we exhausted every single option that was in the city. Every room, every alley, every fetish, every fucking cliche, we want to put everything in the game. We don't want people to feel like, oh, we could still do it. No, IMA fucked everyone in every single possible way, in every single position, in every single place in the whole map. That was the idea of Fleeting Iris. Will I do it again if I knew? No. First of all, I'm not 20-ish. Let's start with that one. That's a big reason not to fucking do it. I'm pushing 40. That's a great idea to not fucking do it again. The second one is, I know in retrospective how much work we had to put in this game, and how many times we were like, oh wow, we just created an amazing bug that no one knows how to fucking fix. Let's fucking go. We had to break and come up with solutions for shit that everyone kept telling us, no, it's not possible. The people on the official forums were telling us that it wasn't possible. Most of the known scripters for RPG Maker VXAs were telling us it was not possible, and then we did it. So basically we're stupid, and we just from explaining how things work, your mileage may vary. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, if your expectation is to do something similar, I mean, Isaac obviously can show you the lights and give you an idea, but trying to explain the complexity of Fleeting Iris is not. I wouldn't want to be there for that lesson. That's how much of a fucking headache it is. I listen. I sometimes I'm not even sure I know how it works, and I know how it works, but sometimes I'm like, why does it work? It's just not. It's unreasonable. It's stupid. We were stupid, and we don't suggest anyone to make that game. That's why we're going to remake it. See, that's how smart we are. Yeah, you're struggling with MV. Yeah, just keep trying. I'm glad you learned a lot from our guide, and yeah, we can definitely try and make a. I know Isaac loves teaching. He has
I do.
Yeah, he has a passion and a very skills and a very he's very skilled at teaching. He has he has taught people in real life.
Also, just as a personal recommendation, if you are just starting to learn how to work with RPG Maker, you might as well wait 5 minutes for RPG Maker Unity. Unite? RPG Maker Unite? Is that the name of the engine?
Unite.
I think it's Unite. Unity is the language. Yes, because the new version of RPG Maker will be much more versatile, and the programming language that it uses is probably the main language used today in game developing, so it will be like a much better point to start if you are just starting now. That's just a personal opinion.
So basically it's called Unite because it's uniting two different engines, Unity and RPG Maker. Yes. Unite, and then it's Unity. See? Smart. They're smart. So yeah, Isaac is saying if you're going to work in the game, and while he's saying that, he's not following the same advice because we're about to start working on a fucking MV game, and he's not saying we should do that in Unity.
Absolutely.
So this is what we do. We're stupid. No, basically, listen, that's cool, but you go and you tell our supporters that we're gonna wait a little longer to release our games.
Yeah, and we already have a lot of assets. Like, we have been buying assets for like a year for MV.
Yeah.
From tile sets to sprites to whatever that
making them
may work and may not work on the new engine. So changing engines now would be kind of dumb and throwing a lot of money away too. So there's also that.
Yeah.
The engine is also a bit different from VXAs and MV, so we would have to relearn some stuff, which would also take a lot of time. So it's not very feasible, since we kind of have to work every month to get paid to buy our food and not starve to death. So that's a good motive.
So yeah, but in your case, especially if you're making like a VN or something, what Isaac is saying is that you might want to look into maybe.
Yeah, I think I was very clear. If you are just starting now, might as well start with Unite.
Yeah. If you're like set on working on RPG Maker, definitely wait for Unite.
Yes.
And if you don't want to wait, there's other. I will definitely not learn RPG Maker if you're learning. If you're learning, I will definitely tell you to go learn the one that where Ren'Py and Unity. I feel like it's the two that people. Right? I feel like it's the two that people use the most. because it feels like a lot more user friendly, and a lot of people like that. It feels like more visual novelty. Um, you know, it's never too late to do anything. But yeah, I feel like a lot more people are on the RenP slash Unity train, if that makes any sense. So I will definitely, you know. Plus, like Siri said, a game this big is kind of financially bad because, you know, you will never be able to get the bang for your buck.
Absolutely.
Right? We knew that we were basically just doing something out of passion because no one is going to be working 8 games to charge like $15 for the game. Right? No one in the history of ever is going to fucking, oh wait, except us fucking idiots. No one is going to work 8 years and make the biggest fucking entire game ever made and then charge $15 for it just because we wanted people to be able to afford our game. But yeah, on Twitter we just released a retweet fucking game where people want like 10 keys for Fleeting Hours on Steam.
Nice.
Because to celebrate the fact that Kagura Games finally updated the game. So yeah, there's also that.
About time.
But in general, this was us doing our Dubai of anti games, where all the ideas seem stupid. You're making a fucking city in sand over water, like everything that every engineer ever will tell you not to do. But then you're like, haha, I got a big dick. I gotta do something different. You know, basically some things in life, it's just people flexing. And Fleeting Hours was just starting with a little flex and flexing our dicks, you know, bigger every fucking time. And then people were telling us it's getting unreasonable, and we're like, and that's when we push it harder, because we got a big dick. And yeah, it's just like, in any way you look at it, Fleeting Hours is a terrible project. The game might be fun and whatnot, but as a developer, it's just like there's so many red flags about that project. First of all, people should never have believed us when we said we were going to deliver that. Like, people put out the easiest fucking game, get people teased down, and then almost every I feel like the someone made like a chart, and I felt like 77% of the devs abandoned their projects in the first year.
Of the indie devs?
Yes.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense.
No, on Patreon and whatever, even the ones making money. Even the ones that making real money.
Yes, but, you know, indie.
Yeah, indie.
Devs.
77% of the devs abandoned their projects on the first year.
Yes.
And then we were like, no, guys, we won't do it. Trust, we're going to make the biggest entire game ever. Obviously, for us that already had like a big participation in the community and we are known and whatnot, our, you know, our word weighed a little heavier than, you know, someone that came out of nowhere. But still, like, it's Fleeting Hours was a terrible idea, by any metric, by any way you can look at it, especially from a financial perspective. Grabbing a game, making it that big, especially a game that is like on a niche that a lot of people don't tolerate, like NTR. But at the time, it was what was big at the time, and that was what people were like, no, you guys gotta make an NTR game. And I was like, okay, sure, whatever, NTR. But yeah, now in Bloodlust is us finally trying to make a game with like all the excellence that we can bring to a game. We already tried to go a little extra on the Shota patch, even though we didn't go a lot. I feel like the new maps are pretty good. The sprites are pretty decent. The songs were pretty okay. The dialogue, I feel like it was a lot better than regular Fleeting Hours. The drawing system felt like a little better. All the scenes feel a lot harder than most of the scenes in Fleeting Hours. And, you know, in general, even the calendar system and whatever, I feel like there's a lot of what we did that is, like, heaps and bounds away from, you know, what we started as Fleeting Hours, when Fleeting Hours started.
Yes, after 8 years of working, we are getting better at our jobs. Who knew that?
So for Bloodlust, I really want to make sure that that's when we leave our mark. Like, for people that feel like we cannot improve from what we did and whatnot, I feel like Bloodlust and Journey Abroad is going to be like completely different ball game in terms of quality than anything that we released.
Fucking hope so.
And but in terms of like we can that's when we can go back and look at Fleeting Armies and be appreciative of it, because I feel like until the last second we were still learning stuff and we were still
Yes.
learning how to do better stuff, and even the stuff that we knew we were honing our skills in terms of like how to work with stuff in Photoshop, how to, like do stuff smarter and not harder, and in general just being able to develop a better game. I feel like it didn't feel like at a point where it's just like, okay, we extended the limit of our skill and from now on we're just trying to like wrap up the story and whatnot. I felt like we kept continuously learning how to do better stuff and learning new stuff to do in terms of like animations. Like something that we learned almost at the end was to create entire scenes where we can have the animation going while the text is still scrolling and whatnot.
And those look great.
That was like a game changer. So yeah, I'm very thankful for Fleeting Armies in terms of what I learned. I wish I started it when I was like 20. And I will be now 28 and still be super fresh and ready to work on all those games and realistically expect them to finish them all before I was 40, But yeah, Fleeting Armies took a long time. And the punchline is we actually cut like 100 scenes out of the game. Remember that?
Remember that when you started, you told me that you wanted your game so big that it would have like 100 entire scenes. Do you remember saying that?
Yeah, no.
How naive.
How naive. 100 entire scenes. Well, I was right about it, see? I just grossly underestimated. No, because there's always ideas and there's always ways to improve stuff. And it's really hard, especially if you do something out of passion. If you set up like, okay, I'm going to do 12 scenes, and you imagine those 12 scenes, and you do those 12 scenes, you're making a business. That's a business model. If you look at something and you feel like, oh, I could improve this. Oh, well,
Yeah.
It's hard to do that. So now the most difficult part about Bloodlust is trying not to shove like a million different fetishes in that game. And I'm trying to make like a cap. Like I cannot go above these many scenes. And I'm trying to make it most like 2 years worth of development.
Yeah,
after 2 years, this needs to be finished.
It's hard to tell all the story you want to tell and make all the game you want to make, so to speak, when you know from the start that you are limited on how much you can put in the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is definitely a thing. And it's kind of gross. That's see when you don't want to settle. Right, for a number of scenes, what you try is to get a bigger team. So that's pretty much the plan. We need to get more money to get more people so I can make more hentai instead of cutting, which is something that I don't want to do. I have so many great ideas for Bloodlust, and it gets to a point where you don't want to cut anything. Because, like, imagine, you start imagining the antagonists, and you imagine, like, the school principal, and he's in on the whole thing, and then there's the informer, and then there's the janitor, and then there's the guy that lives in the same house that Jazz rents, and blah, blah, blah. And then you start figuring all these characters, and then you cannot make too many scenes, but you also don't want to make, like, 2-3 scenes where you start teasing people, and then suddenly that character disappears. But then you're like, oh, wait. But what about the molester? The molester from the subway? What if they actually met them? Oh, what about the oboes? What about that character? What about... And then you already have this setup, and you have this swirl, and then you're like, oh, dude, I have, like, all these scenarios. Like, one of the ideas that I have for one of the missions is where Jazz and Eve go on the Kinky Kittens, right? What? Are you laughing because the Melvin thing? That's a Melvin
reference.
That's a Melvin reference. So basically, you start developing these scenarios, and once you have all these scenarios, you start counting these things. Like, oh, I'm already at 80. Yeah, I need to start cutting. So, wait, what are you counting? how many months it will take us to release. 80
I wasn't
scenes.
counting. Just my fingers are hurting, like I told you before.
Oh wow, alcohol usually helps. Um, but yeah, I'm trying not to exceed myself too much when making Bloodlust. I'm trying to keep all the scenes at every character like at 5 at most. Like all the antagonists have like 5 scenes. But it sucks. Like I'm already used to making something with Fleeting Iris where every story has like a beginning, a middle, and an end, and you can actually tell a story, and it has it has closure, and it has like build up, and it has all that. And obviously, some people say, "Oh, dude, I expected more out of this route and whatever." You realize how big our fucking game is. Like, okay, you like this character, but someone else already said that they like that other character, and someone
Yes.
else already said that they like that other route. And I cannot just cut one and just give more of the other. I mean, the only character that we felt like was like consistently brought up was Melvin, and that one was the one that got the biggest route out of all the routes and got like 2 different routes and whatever. But it's hard to like make one route, like when people say, "Oh, we felt like this route was so small. Oh, we felt like that was not even a route. That was like a sub route." The fact that people even think that it was a route, like this the photo shoot, because everybody wanted to see Ayame cosplay and whatever.
Yeah,
So
I think people, especially people that never worked on game developing, wanted like every thing that Ayame did to become like a new route.
dude, if it will be feasible if we were making like $30,000 or $40,000 and everybody was still like, no, we support Fleeting Iris. Here's more money.
Yeah.
Give us more scenes, and then it
Yes,
will be
but
like,
we would be working on Fleeting Iris like literally till the day we retire.
listen, if we are being paid literally for that, if people are like, listen, we love Fleeting Iris, we want to see more scenes, dude, I will be working on other games and Fleeting Iris at the same time for the next 10 years. I don't care. If people love Fleeting Iris that much, yes. But now it feels like, it like, financially, it feels like we got to the end of the cycle because people are not supporting more Fleeting Iris.
Yes.
You know, and there we have plenty of ideas, and we could extend the game in a million ways and extend routes and literally just make it like a whole huge world with like 1,000 scenes and whatever. We could do that, but people will have to like financially be telling us this is what we want. The fact right now is that Fleeting Iris is not growing, and we need to come up with new ideas to be able to get a bigger team to be able to work on more stuff.
Yes.
And that's the thing with the stuff.
Absolutely.
So basically we have to as regardless of how passionate we are about creating games, making money is
Yeah,
a necessity.
people don't give us shit for free for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't
other,
get it.
even though we are putting out shorter patches for free, other people
Yeah.
don't give us like food
Yeah,
and booze
I
for
don't.
free.
I don't get it. I have to pay rent and food.
Yeah,
And that's unfair.
yeah. I mean, they should be like, oh, you release a shorter patch for free. Here's a fucking roof for free. Here's
Yes.
3 months rent.
Absolutely.
There you go. It kind of feels like that's how society works. You put out something, right, and people give you something.
You mean that's how society should work?
That's how society works. It's called money. That's why people charge for
Oh
everything.
yeah. Okay, I see your point.
That's why people charge for everything. See, I put in work. Now give me my fucking money. Because listen, I don't want to point out fingers, but I know there's a lot of people that release the DLCs for a lot of games where it felt like, are you really charging for this? And we could 100% grab the shoulder patch, finish it, put it on DL site, and charge for that. 100% we could do.
You
we
mean the
could do
Shota
that.
game?
The Shota game. Listen. Our Shota game is bigger, and there's more work into it, and there's more development into it, and story and whatnot, than most games that come out of the L side.
Also, and this is also very important, not just bigger, but better.
Okay, that's subjective.
Not in this case. I'm sorry, but I have to disagree.
Okay, that's still subjective, even though I agree with you. It's subjective. Quality is a subjective thing. But yeah, that's not how it works. We need money, and we want a bigger team. We want to pay our team better, and we want a bigger team. We want a bigger team because we want to work in more game, and to work in more game at a faster pace, we need more team. We need someone to help Penny Caller. If possible, we want to have people animating at full time. We want people to work on animated battlers full time. We want to hire people for positions. Right now, we have to outsource music. We would like to purchase. We would like to be able to hire like an in-house music maker. All that stuff costs money, and I feel like Fleeting Iris was the end of our freebies. We did a lot of stuff for passion. And we delivered a lot of free stuff for the community. We worked past where we felt like Fleeting Iris should be finished. We kept delivering more Fleeting Iris because we felt like that's what people wanted, and we have done for almost 10 years what people wanted. And right now it's actually time to like focus on something that we feel like it's amazing, but at the same time is um is profitable, you know, if it makes any sense. Sirius Black said at least one heavily seen with the principal in every patch. That's a throwback because at some point Melvin won like a discussion where we had to release one scene with Melvin for Fleeting Iris every, you know. But this is for old school people that have been following this for a long time. Probably got that joke, and yeah. For those that didn't, we had to release one scene with Melvin every single Fleeting Iris patch for the longest time because people were like, we don't care which patch you develop, we need at least one scene with Melvin. And yeah, that's why Melvin's route ended up being so huge. But yeah, if people look at me, dude, I have so many ideas for Fleeting Iris and Fleeting Iris 2 and Fleeting Iris 3. The games are mostly written. So we definitely have ideas. We definitely are passionate still, even though some people have been accusing us of not being passionate anymore and basically quitting. I mean, we've been delivering games for 8 years. No one has been putting an ounce of work in comparison to what we've done, but apparently we are abandoning shit and we don't care anymore. Like I don't. I swear, like sometimes people are just annoying for the sake of being annoying, and they feel like that way. Oh, people are treating us like trash. Let me fucking work harder so I can put out the game for these ungrateful fucking cunts. It's just whatever. But you know, luckily we have a nice community that makes up for all the assholes that, you know, act like assholes. So yeah, I know that a lot of you are expecting the Shota patch to come out. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, we are trying to go through the finishing touches. We're just waiting for the CG team to put out the last scene. Then I have to write it, and then we're gonna put it out. Hopefully, maybe sometime next week. I feel like it's reasonable. I mean, them finishing the scene and yeah, sometime next week, reasonably. If we don't have to put like a lot of work into the Christmas patch, which will also be a good omen, because that will mean the Christmas patch will come out like really soon. But yeah, in short term, expect the Christmas patch and the Shota patch with extra scenes, and then from tomorrow on, expect the development podcasts. And in terms of like the other development podcasts, you know, we'll see. If we might put one out, but it will be it will be helpful if we had questions like, how did you guys did this, how did you guys did that, and then it will be easier to like do a developing podcast where it will be, you know, we will know what to show. Or maybe Isaac could just write a list of, this is the stupid shit that we did in Fleeting Iris that no one ever thought of, and when we just try to explain to you guys how stupidly complex our game is. And then we can share the edit with you guys. And that's about it. Well, we've been at this for almost 2 hours. I feel like it was a nice comeback from all the hiatus. We needed to rest. I still feel like I didn't rest enough. I'm still feeling like tired, sick, whatever. I feel like the Shota patch at the end really did a fucking number on us. And yeah, and basically I spent the first week. While you were on vacation, I was going to doctor appointments. I did like 4 of them in the span of a week. And I need to go back for a few of them. One of them told me that we should operate, and he told me to get a second opinion. So
Okay.
I'm going to be waiting for that one. But yeah, I'm going again to the doctor on Friday. But yeah, on a lighter note, we never left. We are back. Our spirit is back. We are not being crushed every day, like we were at the end of the Shota patch. We learned our lesson, because people are going to be cunts. So you know, there will be no more deadlines for anything. And from now on, we will try to just release stuff on instead of like making like a bulk idea of what we are going to release. Like, obviously in retrospective, everybody, you know, is a fucking genius, but Isaac gave me a huge idea. Like, he told me, listen, if I knew how big the shoulder patch will be, I will tell you to release it in like 3 parts. And I thought 2 things of on that day. 3 things actually. First one was, oh, Isaac doesn't know me as well as you think he does. Second one was, Isaac is absolutely right. And the third one was, if I actually had any idea how fucking big the shoulder patch was gonna be. See? They kind of all complement each other.
In retrospective, we're all geniuses.
In retrospective, we're all genius. I know fucking idea it's gonna be that big. Initially, I planned like 8 scenes. And then I was like, you know what will be funny? If they also fuck the father. Oh, you know what will also be funny? If there was this scene and whatever, and these kids appeared, and they were kind of like douchebags and whatever, and basically there's more. Oh, you know what will also be funny? It's super funny. Everybody's laughing until you have to put like 1 year worth of fucking work on the game. It's always hilarious. And what was supposed to be like 8 scenes and the short, like, oh, this happens over the course of like 2 weeks, and some days have absolutely nothing. It's just like there for the sake of being there. It's been like, no, this is going to be like 30 days, lusk fusk, estás a perceber? It's going to be like a lot of fucking shit going on over the course of 30 days. Oh, I also want to put more days. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and the punchline is that you also have to add like more stuff now, a new scene in more days and more like whatever.
No, it's not a lot.
After all that,
it's not a lot. I just feel like the shoulder patch. I just feel like the shoulder patch will be a lot better, you know, if you leave the camera rolling. No, I feel like it's not. Listen, what I want to do is, I'm sorry, only telling you this now, putting you on the spot, but what I want to do is, on the very first levels, on the very first days, have more dialogues between Ayame and Noel, to increase like the quality of their relationship. Okay. So some of the ideas of the dialogue that I have in mind was like one where they are talking and they are eating, right? And Noel wants a burger. Leon wants a burger, but Noel says, I want a salad. And she's like, wait, you're 12. He wants a burger. You're 12. Why do you want a salad? And then he explains that he's vegan. And then you're like, okay, why are you vegan? So basically, he's going to tell that they once went to a slaughter and they saw how the animals were being treated. And Noel was like, oh no, I don't want to eat animals, and he cares about the animals, and he's like super kind and whatever. And Ayame thinks like that is super cute. And I want to put like those small moments in the game, so where Ayame grows like fonder of Noel, because she realized that the kid is more kind-hearted and whatever, for the reasons for him to be vegan. And I had another idea where they're talking about anime and which animes they like, and because he likes more slices of life for whatever reason, and he's not into those shonen and whatever. And you see that through the dialogue, you feel like Ayame is growing fonder of Noel, which is an idea that I had. But once I finished the shoulder patch and I played it a couple times, I feel like Ayame falls for Noel too fast. Like, the dialogue where she convinces him to do those things is believable, but not in the stage at which that their relationship should be at this point.
Okay.
Like, obviously there's a lot of that happens in black screen. Like, she goes to their house in the morning and then she leaves at the end of the day, and you don't see what happens. What I want to do is add the see what happens in those moments, so you can see Ayame grow fonder of Noel on the very first few days.
Makes sense.
And see where we can fit those, so we can add those conversations, so you can see Ayame grow fonder of Noel before the first scene. I'm glad we went full circle and I went there, because I've been meaning to tell you this for the longest time, and I think I forgot at some point, but I'm just telling you because we need to do it. Okay, we need to wrap up because Isaac has to go. I mean, I could be here, but you know, I don't have that much more to talk about, you guys. I already,
I have responsibilities.
Already caught you guys up to what's happening. So I hope you guys enjoyed the first podcast of this new era.
It was fun.
It was podcast number 50.
It was fun.
It's a milestone. I wish I wasn't as clogged. It feels like it's like permanent right now. It's horrible. But I had a lot of fun with this podcast. It was fine. It was great talking to you guys again. It was great trying to like share with you guys what we're gonna do in the next few times. And yeah, I miss this. I miss talking to you guys on the podcast and sharing our ideas and but yeah, we weren't feeling as energetic and as patient. Like what were we gonna do if during the Shota podcast? Oh, Shota podcast is not out. Bye everyone. Like we wanted to release the Shota patch before we went into the next podcast. And then for the first week, I was mostly Isaac was out. I was mostly in the hospital. The second week, I just used it to rest. I just took like full rest. I was sleeping like 12, 13 hours a day because my body was still trying to get rid of all the stress because I was being sleep deprived. I was sleeping like 3 to 4 hours a day for like the span of like 3 weeks. And then my body just collapsed. I spent like a whole week where I just slept for a whole week. And then last week we got back to work. And then full time, but then we were supposed to do the podcast yesterday, but then Isaac had a lot of important stuff to do. He had to basically help his girlfriend out.
Yes, she went to buy stuff for her work, and then I went with her to her workplace.
Oh, she went to carry stuff. So you went to carry stuff, do
Yeah.
guy stuff. Got it.
Carry stuff, clean stuff,
So yeah,
Some
but
stuff.
I'm glad we're back, and hopefully we can start going back to having weekly podcasts, or just in general. I hope that the regular podcast where we share with you guys how to develop the game, and I hope that a lot of people join on those and ask questions and participate a lot. That will be fun. We will see. I know I'm excited for that. I also know that Isaac is excited to do the podcast where he teaches you guys RPG Maker. Because again, I mean, Isaac is very passionate about teaching and he's a good teacher. I mean, he has done it professionally. So
more or less professional.
you were being paid for it. That's literally the definition of. You didn't have a contract. Okay, I get it, but you were being paid to do it.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah. For me, that's all. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast this week. I'm glad you guys came along and talk with us in the chat. It's always nice to see you guys. Isaac.
I was actually thinking if I had something to add, but yeah, I don't think so.
It's the same as always. Bye, everybody.
I feel
Go ahead.
like
Go ahead.
I feel like I talked a lot on this podcast. I mean, compared to what I usually talk on the podcasts,
Yes.
I think I participated more on this one.
Yes.
That was-
Not a lot, but more.
More, yes, more.
More. I like when you participate more.
I also like when I participate more, but it also depends a lot on the subjects we are talking about. So it made a lot of sense on this one. Anyway, bye everyone.
Bye, everyone. Yeah, and the same for me. I see you guys tomorrow with the podcast, hopefully. Not the podcast, the stream, the development stream. I hope to,
Streamcast.
yeah, I hope to see you guys. And if you don't, it's just going to be me developing. If you guys want to show up and ask questions and whatnot, that will be great. But if you don't, you will always be able to watch the VOD. So there's always that. And yeah, if people like it, I will continue to do it. If people don't like it, you can expect a patch every month. So
Yes.
that's all, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed. Take care. See you guys next week.
Bye everyone.
Peace.
「起きてばかり寝坊したと思い出したのは君のことです」「起きてばかり眠くなった」「忘れたくないのは君の顔です」「夜には遅くまで起きてる」「あなたの声を聞きたい」「あなたの手をつなぎたい」